Good morning. This video will be about Central Machinery's 5-speed bench drill press. Now, I will say, starting off, that this drill press has done me well, and the only issue that I have had, and this is an issue that others have had, is this adjustment here, which is used for the depth of the drilling of the hole. Now, the original piece was made out of a black plastic. It was a split in the back, and the piece wrapped around the upper part of the drill, just above the chuck, and just screwed down to tighten. But the issue was that right here, where this adjustment rod goes through that plastic, if you weren't paying attention, and when you got to the bottom of your drilling, this would break off. So I tried several attempts at refabricating one with wood. That's all I had at the time, so I thought, well, it can't be too difficult. I'll just pretty much trace the outline of the one that was there, make it out of wood. No big deal. But it was a big deal because the wood grain varied so much in different pieces of wood that they would break just as easily as the piece of rubber that originally came with it. Now, I did see one guy online who was fabricating this piece made of either aluminum or a cast material. Never was able to get back. He had said in his video that he was going to get back and produce a few of them and see if they would sell to those of us that had this Central Machinery drill press, but I never saw anything else. So anyway, so I decided to make mine out of the same high density plastic that I made the table for the drill press. Now, these are both just old cutting boards, but I thought, well, I'll do the same thing again. I will trace the wooden piece, or the original piece made out of their plastic, and use it on this. So after several attempts, and then having the same issue, but my issue was on the back here, where you see that screw sticking out. There was one like it on the other side now. My issue was that I couldn't get the chuck off. So in order to get this piece to fit on, I either had to cut the plastic here too thin, or cut the hole for going around the shaft too large, and then I couldn't get the clamp together. So after about 3 hours and 4 attempts yesterday, I decided, well, I'll just cut the whole thing in half, and I'll put it together with 2 screws. So that's what I've done. As you can see from this angle here, he said casually, there's a screw on this side, so it mounts front and back piece. And it does fairly well. Now, the only issue, again, that I feel like is going to happen is that if I forget where I have this and go down too far, it just may flex beyond its means and end up breaking as well. And it just took too long. I used a hole saw to cut the hole for the shaft, and I used a bandsaw to cut the rest of it out. I'm hoping it's going to last. I'll just have to be more cognizant of what I'm doing and be a little bit more careful of the cut that I'm making. But the only thing I don't still have or can't find is the little pointer gauge that went on the shaft here that pointed to the depth of cut. But if I'm going to be doing anything repetitive, I'll just screw these down, one for the adjustment, one to lock it when I get it there. Once I get it there, then I'll just measure it. I can put a ruler underneath of, under this space here. Right here, I can put a ruler, I can pull it down, measure it at 1 inch, 1 1/4, whatever it needs to be, and just mark it off. It'll be good for anything from obviously 0 to about 2 1/4 inches of travel, so that should not be a problem. If you have this same Central Machinery 5-inch bench drill press, and you've had that problem, you can leave me a note about maybe where you found a replacement, because I'm not sure if Central Machinery sells them, and I'm not sure that I want one of the exact same condition, but mine seems to be what's going to work. So it took, again, I drilled 1.5 inch hole. I drilled 2 holes for the screws to hold the front and back together, and I drilled 1 hole here for the depth adjustment rod, and that's it. There was a screw on the bottom down here that holds this in. You can see it right there, screwing a nut on that. Beyond that, that's it. It was, again, it took me too many attempts to try and replicate the one that was on there, but once I got my idea of making a front and back piece, it worked out fine. So any comments are welcome, and have a great day. Thank you.